Hello, everybody. This is Krista Krogan, Young Living Platinum Leader, and I am excited to share with you now about the compensation plan. This really truly is one of my very favorite subjects, which may sound strange to some people, but it's just something I really enjoy coaching on and teaching about. Now, by no means do I consider myself an expert, but I do feel like I have a decent grasp of a lot of the basics of the compensation plan. So we'll go ahead and get started here. What we're going to cover right now, we're going to start with important terms and definitions, because if I'm throwing around terms and you don't even understand what they mean, well, that's not a great learning experience. So we'll start there, and then we'll talk about the bonuses. This is also going to include the Rising Star bonus, which is actually probably my favorite part of the compensation plan, if you can have a favorite part. And then we will also discuss unilevel commissions. So getting into those terms and definitions, recently Young Living changed their terms for distributors. In fact, we were usually calling each other members, and they have now officially changed the title to distributor. You might still hear people calling us members. That might be a little bit confusing, though, especially knowing what we now call the retail customers. So now we are distributors, and Young Living distributors enjoy 24% off retail prices and can participate in the compensation plan if they choose. So my slide is a little outdated here. And customers are now called preferred members, I believe. I would need to double check. So there might be a little bit of confusion, but we're basically the terms aren't so important as just understanding that conceptually a distributor is a person who's getting 24% off, and then a customer or a preferred member is going to pay full retail price. Also, a retail customer or a preferred member, as they're now called, cannot have a downline. So only distributors are able to have a downline with a working business. So we talk about enrollers and sponsors. And if you've ever signed anybody up, you have gone to youngliving.com and clicked on become a member, and you see that there are two boxes. There's a box for an enroller number, and then there's a box for a sponsor number. So when you're just getting started, most often, you will just put the same number in both of those boxes. It's your member number. And to be honest, I often will go ahead and just put my own member number in for both enroller and sponsor, and then we can make changes later on sponsor. So first of all, enroller is the distributor responsible for signing up a new member to Young Living. The enroller is eligible for the Fast Start and Start Living bonuses that I'm about to talk about in just a second. And then the sponsor is a member's direct upline and supposedly main support. That kind of depends on the relationship, I think, between you and the member. Um, Sometimes it is the same as the enroller, as I'd said. An enroller can give their new members a different sponsor within the first, actually, this is updated as well, within the first 30 days of a new member, or 30 days after a new member is enrolled. Changing an enrollee's sponsor allows you to strategically lay out your organization's legs. So this is another important term that we're going to start talking about. I want you to think of a spider and how a spider has all of these legs, 8 to be exact, right? We don't actually need 8 in Young Living, but some people have 8. We're just working to be a human to start. We're just working towards 2 legs to start with. But let's talk a little bit more about enroller and sponsor here. So as I'd said, often I will just uh, make myself both enroller and sponsor, and then I've got 30 days that I can make that change. I can change, actually, if I wanted to, I could make somebody in my organization enroller and sponsor of the people I sign up. That's another whole discussion on choosing, and that's not really the focus of this compensation plan video. So I'm not going to go real in depth into reasons why on those. But just know that you can make yourself enroller and sponsor. You can make yourself enroller, make somebody else sponsor. Um, it's really kind of up to you, and you've got that 30 days to do so, okay? And so basically the enroller is the person that enrolls them, gets them started. Sponsor is supposedly the main support, but oftentimes when we're placing people in those different legs and having the person at the top of that leg uh, be the sponsor, they might not know those people. And so we always try to introduce them and establish a relationship there. But to be honest, in my experience, the new member just doesn't usually feel comfortable with a stranger reaching out to them. And so, what I do is when I keep myself enroll or make somebody else sponsor, I will try to establish a relationship between those two. But essentially, I consider myself as the enroller. I consider myself the main support there. Okay. So, volume is just kind of a general term. A lot of times when we talk about volume, we're really referring to overall group volume, but volume is just commissionable value of the product that a distributor purchases each month. Now, we have different kinds of volume. We've got PV, which is personal volume. And so we need to pay attention to how much personal volume we are spending in a calendar month, and what you purchase plus personally sponsored customer or retail sales. So yeah, we'll just move on to OGV, not go in too much on that there. OGV is organizational group volume. This is the total amount of all commissionable sales volume generated by you and everyone in your organization in a calendar month. Okay, so think of PV, what you spend, OGV, what you spend plus what anybody in your team spends. And then legs. A leg is formed by a distributor who has 100 PV and includes the OGV of their downline to qualify for ranks executive and above. Separate legs of a specified volume are required. So we're going to get into the details of that in just a second. This is a little blurry. I didn't realize that. It's not a problem. I actually have some other slides. This is just the entire document, which we have in Virtual Office. And so it's nice to be able to see the whole thing together at once. I encourage you to print this off, not this one, print this off and post this around your house and then study it. That's truly what I did when I was learning. And oh, I forgot I was going to use my fancy pointer. That's much neater. Um, it really took me a while to figure this out, to study this document. And one day it just clicked. Like, I can't really explain it, like how or why, but literally I just had that feeling like, oh, I finally get this now. So I'm sure that works differently for everybody, but that's how it worked for me. Okay, we're going to talk about the Start Living bonus. And what this is, it's a one-time $25 cash bonus when your new personally enrolled distributor orders the premium starter kit. Basic kits do not qualify, so we need to purchase a premium starter kit. We've got several. We've got oil kits that have different diffusers in them. We've got Thieves premium starter kits, Ningxia Red premium starter kits, and now we have Savvy Minerals makeup premium starter kits. So if a person orders a basic kit for $45, we do not see any Start Living bonus for that. There is no flat $25 cash bonus. Okay. So essentially speaking, in a nutshell, what this all says, when your new member joins Young Living using your member number and they buy a premium starter kit, you will get a $25 flat cash bonus. In addition to this, we also have the Fast Start bonus, which refers to the 25% bonus up to 200 for each member that's enrolling on your new personally enrolled distributors orders during their first 3 calendar months. Okay, this is important here. Often people will misunderstand this and think that it's referring to how long you, the enroller, have been with Young Living. It is not. It is referencing the new member, how long they are with Young Living. So essentially speaking, when they join, that's month one. And so you will earn 25% of the PV of the kit, okay? Kits have 100 PV. So even though they cost 160 or $170 or whatever they are by the time, this video ends up being outdated, either way, we earn 25% of whatever the PV is. So 100 PV on a kit, 25% of that is $25, okay? So when you add this $25 cash bonus plus that 25% of 100, which is another $25, that's where you get the $50 that we often tell people, hey, you get 50 bucks for helping somebody get started. Now, here's another addition to the Fast Start bonus. When a member you enrolls somebody else, okay, so think of it like you're the grandma, okay? So your daughter is your member, and then your granddaughter is their member, essentially. I always think of it like that. But so when a member you enrolls somebody else, you earn a 10% bonus. Okay, so when your person enrolls somebody and they buy a premium starter kit, which is 100 PV, you get 10% of that, which is $10. That's only up to $80 a person that enrolls, okay, on the newly enrolled distributor in the first 3 calendar months, okay? So 25% is what you earn for whatever they spend in their first 3 months. So we're just talking about the first month right now, okay? So first month, we're earning between these two $50. And then month 2 comes around and you'll still earn 25% of whatever they spend. And the same is true in month 3. Now, the caveat here on all of this is that you yourself need to spend at least 50 PV in order for you to earn these bonuses. Um, to explain it to other people, if you're wondering like how do I sell that, I usually just tell them that it's basically the overhead in your business, which at $50, 50 PV spent, you have to spend 50 PV. That is nothing compared to real overhead in bricks and mortar businesses. It's absolutely nothing. And I also like to say, hey, you enroll one person, it's basically like you getting $50 worth of oils for free. So you buy 50 PV worth, and then the next month you'll get your $50 check to reimburse you. That's how I usually address that. So here is just kind of a recap. Earn $50 for each member you enroll with a premium starter kit. That's the Start Living bonus, which is $25, plus $25 Fast Start bonus, which is 25% of 100 PV, okay? Now, it's a little bit more complex than this because there is a reduced commission that is earned that I'm not really going to talk too much about that. It causes on our Oily Tools app, it might tell us that people are missing money. There's money being left on the table because in those cases, we need to spend at least 100 PV. But seriously, it's $2.40 that you would earn if you spend 100 instead of 50. So we don't usually talk about it, and so I'm not going to encourage you to focus and study on that too terribly long unless you're a little bit more advanced in the compensation plan information. Okay, so that is the first type of bonus that I want to share with you. This is gold right in here. This is nice money. And then in the person's 4th month, in that member's 4th month, then we go to what is called the unilevel commissions, which is what this whole document, basically this top section up here, this is all about the unilevel commissions. And so I'm going to just go back to the one we can see. Here's the levels right here. Okay, and so as a member, this is just distributor. Let's start with star, okay? Because that's the first rank that people work towards to earn. And so up here we talk about qualifications, and then down here is the compensation, okay? So PV, Remember that, personal volume, OGV, which is overall group volume. Now, we didn't talk about PGV. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And then here's our legs. So at STAR, you yourself need to spend at least 100 PV in order to earn the rank of star. And then your OGV, so your volume plus everybody on your team, their volume is 500. And so when you hit this, here is how you earn unilevel commissions. Remember, this is in your members' fourth month, because up to the third month, you're earning those bonuses. Now, you got to think about this. We're just talking about one member, and we're always going to be enrolling new members. And so we're always going to be having people in the bonus structure in our organization, and then we're going to have people that are in the unilevel foundation, the unilevel structure, okay? So that is really why it's just wisest to go ahead and spend 100 PV so that you're not missing out on any pay, okay? So when you have this, you have at least 100, your team overall has 500 at least, and then you go into the unilevel commissions to find out what you earned. And so level 1 is where you will earn 8%. Okay, so your member spends, let's just make it a round number. They spend 100 PV. Okay, your level 1 person spends 100 PV, and so you earn 8% of that, or $8. Now, level 2, somebody that's under that level 1 person. Okay, so this is a leg right here. All of these people are in the same leg, and here is what you earn. On the first person, you earn 8. The second person down, you earn 5%. And if there's a third person down there, you earn 4%. All right, let's move on to Senior Star. The next rank up, you're still needing to spend 100. Your overall group volume needs to be 2,000, and you hit Senior Star. And when you do this, here is that leg, okay? So, or any leg, any of your legs, okay? But this is just one of your legs, what you would earn. So the first person in the leg, you'll earn 8%, second person 5, third 4, and fourth 4. Now notice that you now earn on level 4. So what's the big deal about that? Well, oftentimes we have lots of levels in this leg. And I mean, gosh, 20 levels down for some people. But if you only hit star, you're only earning on the first 3 levels down. So that's a nice little incentive to get you to Senior Star so that you can earn more. And I know that sounds small, but believe me, it truly does add up when you're talking about more than one person that we have here like this, okay? Executive, now we're getting into some strategy. You need to have at least 100 PV. Your overall group volume is now 4,000, and you're gonna have 2 legs, each at 1,000 PV, okay? So one of those spider legs, okay, this is a leg here, and maybe this is another leg here. You need at least 2 of them that have at least 1,000 PV or OGV. And when they do, you earn another level down. So 8, 5, 4, 4, 4, okay? Hopefully that's understandable. We're gonna move on to the next level up. And we're just going to go silver, gold, and platinum, and that's all today. Okay, so here's our qualifications again. PV is always the same, even all the way up. We're not going to go beyond platinum today, but all the way up, you only ever have to spend 100 PV. OGV for silver is 10,000 now, okay? So we've jumped from 4,000 at executive with 2 legs at 1,000 to 10,000 overall group volume and 2 legs at 4,000. Now, let's talk about this PGV thing too. At silver rank, you have to have at least 1,000 PGV in addition to everything else here. What is that? Personal group volume. So personal group volume is everything in your organization minus these 2 legs. So whatever volume is in your 2 legs, then you have to subtract that out, and you need at least 1,000 somewhere else. So this can it does count your PV, and it counts any other volume anywhere in your organization except what's in those two legs that qualify you. Okay? So if I could kind of look at an example here, we've got sharing Sherry. So let's just say, so here's Sherry's spider legs. She's got Joan is leg 1, Jack is leg 2, doesn't have anybody under him yet, and then Steph is leg 3, okay? And so Joan has a couple of legs herself. She's got Ella and she's got Sue, okay? Now, here's the problem. If the whole volume of this leg is 1,000, actually, let's say this. If the volume of this whole leg is 2,000, let's just say it goes deeper, and the volume of this whole leg is 2,000, okay, that gets us, well, I'm trying to come up with an example where this doesn't work. Let's just say that within this leg that it goes deeper than just Tom, okay? Ella's leg has 4,000, Sue's leg has 4,000. Actually, let me just change this again. I'm trying to come up with a non-example of how this won't work. Here we go. I've got it now. Ella's leg has 5,000 in it. Sue's leg has 5,000 in it. So essentially, that's getting us to 10,000. And we've got two legs at least 4,000. But because of this right there, it's not going to qualify her for silver. Sherry can't be silver. Or I guess Joan can't be silver. If we're looking at Joan, we're trying to get Joan to silver. Okay, so this leg's at 5,000. This leg's at 5,000. So she's got at least 10,000 OGV, and she's got at least two legs at 4,000. But because she needs another leg to help her get towards her PGV, she's not going to qualify unless Joan buys 1,000 PV by herself. Okay? Does that kind of make sense, hopefully? Okay, so at silver is a really nice big bump in pay. It's a promotion from executive to silver because this is where it really starts adding up financially. And I think the average silver earns about $2,000 a month, just to kind of give you an estimate-ish. I don't have the income disclosure statement right in front of me, but here are your earnings here. So you're still earning, everything's all the same as far as like how to earn bonuses, also how to earn commissions. So 8%, 5, 4, 4, 4. Okay, so this is kind of a lot like executive. You have 5 levels down that you earn on, but this generation commission percentage changes, and we also have generation leadership bonuses, which I'm not going to go too super in depth into these, but these are just like flat amounts that you earn for having another silver. Well, you actually earn a generation leadership bonus for yourself. So down here, the silver, and then you earn a couple down there for gold, and that's talking about people that you have under you. Okay, and I can't recall. It's 6.25% of all Young Living's monthly commissionable sales. It's escaping me right now about how much one share is worth, but they do add up. Okay, so this is separate from this here, generation commission percentages. So what this means is, in addition to all this going on, you also earn 2.5% of your personal generation. Your personal generation is basically your whole organization minus any silvers that you have underneath of you on your team. Okay? So you would earn 2.5% of whatever your overall group volume is, unless there's a silver. And then that volume would be subtracted out. But don't feel like that's a bad thing, because what happens is generation 2 is that silver. Okay, and so it's really breaking off of silvers when we start talking about generations. So your personal generation is everybody down to your next silver. And then when you have a silver in your team, that whole generation breaks off, and that's when you earn 3% on that one. Okay, and then if you have a silver under that silver, that team or that generation breaks off for the generation commission anyway, and you're earning 3% on that person. Guys, this really starts to add up fast, okay? So gold 100, volume 35,000. You still need 1,000 PGV. You need 3 legs at 6,000. Okay, and so here's your unilevel commissions again. And looky here, this is going to, whoops, get you one more generation down. Now, I've seen people talking about now how, when silvers having other silvers end up underneath them is good, except for when they have somebody lower than generation 3. So when they have somebody at generation 4 down here, they just don't earn on that. So it cuts off. It cuts off like what we were talking about, and then you get nothing off of it. So this is why it's nice to go to gold, is because you get one more level down, one more level down, one more generation down. Try to not talk levels because that's really up here. These are truly generations. And then platinums, 100 PV, 100,000 OGV, 1,000 PGV. They have 4 different spider legs at 8,000. Okay, commissions are the same. And then we go deeper yet. And so platinums are earning down to 5 generations. So when you think of generations and that's confusing, honestly, if you are still back here, I wouldn't even be worrying about it. All right? Until here. When you get to executive, or maybe a little bit before, then I would start focusing on what is all this generation stuff and what are these generation leadership bonuses. Okay? But until then, you guys have no business even worrying about this right now. Okay, we are quickly going to wrap up with Rising Star Team bonus. This is a bonus that is only eligible for senior stars and executives. It's based on 1% of all of Young Living's commissionable sales, which is $50. I think it's just a flat $50 now. Okay, so the amount paid to the member is determined by the number of shares he or she earns. And like I said, I think it is right at $50. So here's what needs to happen to earn Rising Star bonus. This is what I credit for my quick growth from silver to gold, because I was focusing on Rising Star bonus when I was star, senior star, and executive, which basically just set me up for quick success from silver to gold. I hit silver in August of 2014, and I hit gold in November of that same year. So just 3 months later, okay? Because I was focusing on this. So what you need to do is you need to have, first of all, you yourself need to have a 100 PV order on Essential Rewards. And then to earn 1 share, what you need is you need 3 legs. The top person on that leg, so your level 1, the person you enrolled, needs to have 100 PV on Essential Rewards. So you need 3 of them just like this. Okay, it needs to have at least 100 PV on has to be on ER, has to be at least 100 on ER. Now, sometimes what people will do is they will maybe have a 50 PV ER order and then they will do a quick order for another 50. That will not count you for the Rising Star bonus. They each have to have 100 on ER. And then if they have 300, all 3 of these have at least 300 OGV, then you're going to earn $50. You're going to earn 1 share. Okay. In addition to that, then, and so these are legs. And so this is where I'm saying, think of a spider. This one has 7 legs. Okay. 7 is really like the widest you would ever really need to go. You'll probably want to build wider though for a while, because not everybody, even though we want it and it's, best intentions, all of them are going to do the business with us. That doesn't always happen. Okay, but you can earn 2 more shares then if, in addition to having this structure in a given month, you also have this structure. So you've got 2 more folks, they're spending 100 PV on Essential Rewards. Now they have 500 OGV. Okay, so usually what happens is early on, your people are over here, right? And so they're spending 100 on ER, they've got 300, and then, a couple months down the road, these people shift over here. And then you have new people that are in this lower share category. Okay? And it has to go in this order. Like you can't work for 2 shares without earning the 1 share. You know what I'm saying? You have to earn the 1 share first. And so you find all of those. So some of your people, like you might have people that are over 1,000 OGV, and you're like, well, I should get 3 shares because they basically have exactly this. It's 1,000 OGV, they've got 100. So we should jump right to this. Nope, you have to earn them in order. You have to have this in your organization first, and then add this, and then add this in order to get the 6 total shares, okay? So 2 more shares, you've now got 2 legs at 500 OGV. Okay, so 1 share plus 2 shares is 3 shares. You've got 150 extra dollars. Not to mention your organization is growing and you've got growth here. You've got builders that are sharing with people, okay? Finally, to earn 3 more shares. So basically you earn 1 share, you earn 3 shares, or you earn all 6 shares with this. In this case, 100 on ER, 1,000 OGV in legs 6 and 7. Now this is looking very familiar, or it should look very familiar. If we're talking about 2 legs at 1,000, what does that remind you of? See if I can, okay, right here. This is setting you up for executive. And then the other legs that are coming along, these are going to set you up for, the rest of your growth, okay? Now, how did I use this? Because how on earth did I do this? How did I focus on this? So what I did was a couple of different things. First of all, sometimes this helped me decide, where am I going to strategically place people? If I knew, oh my gosh, I could get 3 more shares if I just got this last leg up to 1,000 OGV. So I would then potentially strategically place somebody in this leg to help them get to 1,000. Okay, so it was things I was doing, but it was also conversations I was having with my level ones and then encouraging them to talk to the people in their organizations. And of course, I was also talking to my level ones about them starting Rising Star bonus. Okay, and so that by them studying it and understanding it, learning about it, they realize they need to be doing these things as well. But it was about conversations. And so like maybe 1 month I've got a leg here that they're on ER, but they're not spending quite 100. And so that became a dialogue for me with them. I would figure out my angle, quote unquote, and like what I was going to say to them. And I would just have a conversation with them, which basically entailed me trying to demonstrate to them the value of essential rewards and ditch and switch and the toxins and chemicals and all that other stuff out there, and how ours is clean and it's a better choice, and how we can it's so our products are so concentrated, and so it's not really as something that lasts a month can actually last 3 months because we can dilute it. And so I would have those conversations, which would help them see the value, which would eventually get them to knowing that they need to spend at least 100 PV on essential rewards. Now, bonus if they started building a team. And sometimes that was why I would build a team under them, is because then I'd start saying like, hey, if you spend 100, you're going to earn a commission. Okay, so that's a part of this too. That was a part of my conversations with everybody. So this is quite long. I'm going to go ahead and stop now. And I was going to go through some stuff with sharing Sherry, but I don't know that we really need to. It seems like we kind of got it all covered the way I hoped. So I hope this has been helpful.